Hello, English Exegesis students, and welcome to week 1 of Revelation. Hopefully you have already watched the welcome video and gotten oriented to what we're going to be doing in this class a little bit. If you haven't, I encourage you to not jump into week 1 yet here, but go back and watch that welcome video, look through the syllabus a little bit, and then come back and start in on the content in this video for week 1. What I'll do each week is at the very beginning of the week, I'll have a link to a video that overviews what we're going to be doing for the week, what the assignments will be, some comments on the readings, and what our objectives are for that particular week. So let's go ahead and get started and see what we have going on for this week. In week 1, let's start out with some topics here. So we are really getting oriented to the class and introducing not only ourselves, but also the course and the idea or the topic or the practice of exegesis. So we're introducing the course, we're introducing ourselves to one another, and we're introducing the concept of exegesis and the first part of a 3-part method for engaging exegesis, namely the world in front of the text. To give you a preview of this method, it consists of 3 parts: the world in front of the text, thinking about ourselves and what we bring to the text; the world behind the text, that is, thinking about the history and culture that stand behind particular New Testament texts; and the world of the text itself, that is, sort of literarily engaging the text in its literary context. So these are our topics for this week. And to get at these topics, or what you should be able to do sort of at the end of your time engaging these topics this week, is these, 5 different things this week. The first is to be able to articulate what exegesis is in a few sentences. So we will come across a couple definitions of what exegesis is in this week, but I don't necessarily want you to just be able to sort of regurgitate a definition of what exegesis is. We're going to see how exegesis is sort of it's a little broader than that. There's more going on than just reducing it down to a single definition. So being able to articulate what exegesis is in a few sentences and sort of a few of the ideas and topics that are hovering around exegesis. The second is here is to introduce a method for interpreting New Testament texts, and this is very much tied up with what exegesis is. So if we're engaging what exegesis is, we're also engaging how to do exegesis in this first week. Another one of our objectives this week is to introduce the world in front of the text, one of the three worlds in the so-called hermeneutical circle that we'll be using as a tool for engaging exegesis this semester. Fourth, be able to identify aspects of your own lived experience and social location that might be important for the ways that you interpret the Bible and the New Testament in particular, and Revelation most specifically. So we're starting with the world in front of the text, and my encouragement to you this week, in the very first week of the class, is to bring your own lived experience, bring your own social location, and bring others' lived experiences and social locations into the interpretation of the text. So those are things to be celebrated as we read and interpret the biblical text. They are not things to be sort of set aside as if we might just be objective readers that don't bring those things to our understanding of the text. And lastly, you will this week ask particular questions about particular passages in Revelation, because we are going to be reading Revelation in its entirety this week. So this is the second bullet point here, Revelation 1 through 22. Here, these are not necessarily in any particular order. In fact, I would probably, if I were to suggest, and maybe I should have altered this, I would probably actually do the third one, the first one, and then the third one, as far as an order of the readings here. But so we're going to be reading Revelations 1 through 22, and I'm going to ask you to, as you read through the text, and I would suggest doing it probably in 2 or 3 different sittings, don't try and do it all at once, write down questions that you have about particular passages as they come up, and also think about a particular passage that you might be interested in studying more deeply throughout the course of the semester. So one of the things you're going to be doing, the culmination of this class is working to that final exegesis paper. And if you can identify passages that you're interested in now, either because they're really weird and you don't understand them, or for some other reason, you'll be off to a really good start for that final exegesis paper. So we've got the entirety of Revelation. We also have the first part of Michael J. Gorman's Elements of Biblical Exegesis. This book right here, this is really a few chapters on sort of getting us oriented to what exegesis is, and then also talking about different translations of the Bible. And then the last one here is from Angela and Parker's book, If God Still Breathes, Why Can't I? I have included 2 chapters of this book on Moodle, so there's a PDF there. And this is a brand new book. It just came out a month or 2 ago, and it's really excellent, really phenomenal. We're not reading the whole thing for this class. Obviously, it's not an assigned text, but I would encourage you, if you read this, these selections and you really like it, which I think you will, they sort of blew me away. I would encourage you to pick up this book. It's pretty thin here. It's a short book, and a short book that really packs a punch. So what Angela Parker does in this book is really sort of decenters the idea that we can be objective in our interpretation of the biblical text, and encourages us to bring our lived experiences and our social location to our understanding of the biblical text. So that's our third reading there. Again, I would actually probably advise you to read this selection first, then move to Gorman, and then move to Revelation. And lastly, what we have by means of assignments for you as English exegesis students this week, there's only one thing that you need to accomplish, one sort of box to check as far as assignments goes, and that is to engage in the forums. So the forum assignment for this week is asking you to introduce yourself. You'll be introducing yourself to both English exegesis and Greek exegesis students. We'll have one forum this week. And the second part will ask you to offer 3 questions about Revelation that you came up with in your reading. So you shouldn't engage in the forum, shouldn't do your forum post until you've gone through your reading of Revelation and come up with some questions. So that's what we have going on this week. I will see you in the forums. And for those of you who are residential students, I will see you in class.